Hi everyone. A very good afternoon to all that are able to join us today. I'll just begin by sharing the agenda of today. So basically, I will be sharing more about introduction to selling on Amazon. And then subsequently, we will have Jaime from One Export, who's going to share more about logistics with us. And then lastly, we have Josephine with us, who's going to share more about US trademarks, and she's from Accolade IP. So without further ado, I will jump right in. So a brief background on who I am. I'm Gwen, marketing specialist from Amazon Global Selling, and I'm really glad to be here to share with you, all of you, about selling on Amazon. I'll be sharing all about selling on Amazon.com, equipping you with the essential know-hows and tips on how to get started on your selling journey. After the sharing sessions from our speakers, I'll open the floor to Q&A, and we'll do our best to cover all the questions that you have for us. In the event that we do not have enough time to answer all of your queries, do not worry, we will have them noted down and we will address them in our Facebook community after. So just type in any of these questions that you might have in the chat. If you see in your right panel, you should be able to see a chat. You'll be able to type the questions in there, and we'll be taking note of these questions and we'll be covering them at the end of the session. All right. Just a notice that all information shared today are proprietary to Amazon. And before I jump into the content of today, let me take some time to actually introduce you to our very vibrant Facebook community, a community space where like-minded sellers, aspiring sellers, as well as existing sellers share their know-hows as well as tips for us to actually keep you updated on our latest event, webinars, as well as tips on selling. So if you just scan the QR code on the screen, you can get connected with us and your counterparts. I'll look forward to seeing all of you in the group. I myself is an admin of the group, and what we do is that we actually help a lot of our sellers who are in the group with their questions, and there are a lot of helpful, experienced sellers in the group as well who always give like good tips and advices on certain issues that people might have. So do join us in the group. You just have to scan the QR code on the screen. And let me just pause here for like 1 minute so that you guys can actually join the group if you haven't done so. All right. So why sell on Amazon? We actually reach a widespread customer base across borders with over 300 million worldwide active customer base, and we have over 200 million Prime members. And on top of that, we're actually present in more than 20 stores worldwide. And this is the exposure that your brand can get by selling on Amazon.com. So how exactly can I get started with selling on Amazon? First, let me just walk you through a typical seller's journey. They will first begin by learning more about selling with Amazon and then proceed with registering with us. After all the registration processes have finished, they will be all ready to actually launch their store on Amazon.com. And this is where they will begin to actually list their products and start enjoying sales. And they will then enter into a subsequent stage of scaling their business with the support of our brand building tools, widening their reach and scaling upwards. So if you actually take a closer look at the wholesaler journey, with these detailed breakdown, you're actually able to easily track your progress to actually ensure that you're on track with onboarding as a seller on Amazon. I will not be delving into the details of each and every of the stage in this slide, but I would like you to understand more about reach in every stage what happens, and would like more tips, you can actually access our Perfect Jumpstart Launch Playbook, which I will drop in which you can access in your Perfect Jumpstart in the handouts option. If you click into the right panel, you can actually access this Perfect Jumpstart Launch Playbook, which has all the extra information that you might need during your seller process. And becoming a brand owner on Amazon, actually, what it means to actually be a brand owner, we have always mentioned to aspiring sellers like yourself, what it actually means and what it actually takes to be a brand owner. And we always encourage brand owners to actually sell our original products with your own branding, and always encourage aspiring sellers to have your own registered US trademark. And later in the presentation, Josephine is going to share more about how you can get a US trademark. And also, you get access as a brand owner on Amazon, you can actually get access to a full suite of Amazon tools actually designed to protect and build your brand, to create actually better experience for your customers. And also, being registered with Amazon Brand Registry, you're actually safeguarding your brand, and you're able to detect and report intellectual property infringement or inaccurate listings. And you may only maintain one seller account for each region you sell, unless you have a legitimate business need to actually open a second account. If any of your accounts are not in good standing, we may deactivate your selling accounts until all accounts are in good standing. This is one of an example of our seller code of conduct. Being an Amazon seller would mean that you will not be able to actually operate in more than one selling account without a legitimate business need. And also, you do not attempt to actually influence customer ratings, feedbacks, and reviews, and which that would also encompass like getting your family, your friends to actually help you write reviews. And also do take note that counterfeit as well as illegally replicated goods are not suited for FBA. And just now, like what I mentioned, the Perfect Jumpstart Launch Playbook, you can just simply scan this QR code and access the Perfect Launch Guide if you're not able to access it using our handouts function at the right side. Actually, this guide actually dives into the end-to-end process of the US selling journey, and it covers everything you need from listing to FBA, and it brings you through step by step the whole registration process and how to actually go about doing at different stages of your selling journey. So I'll just pause here for like a few seconds for you to actually scan this QR code, because it is a very, very useful playbook that will come in very, very handy when you're actually on your selling journey. The next know-how, we must all know how much it actually costs to sell on Amazon. Allow me to share a bit more about the cost components. We can actually break the cost down into 4 main components. Firstly, the selling plan. I recommend getting started with the professional selling plan. Being professional on the professional selling plan would mean, one, it gives you greater access to customize your store settings. 2, provide a better shopping experience for your customers. And to top it all off, our team would provide account management support on your first 90 days of your onboarding to professional sellers. Secondly, we have referral fees, and Amazon actually charges a percentage fee on items sold. The amount varies across different categories, but it typically ranges from 8% to about 7%. 17%, I mean. Next, fulfillment fees. These are only applicable if you choose to ship your product using fulfillment by Amazon, which I'll talk more about in just a bit. And lastly, all other costs. You may actually incur additional fees depending on the situation, and also other optional programs which you might opt for, designed to actually help you increase sales. And do note that when you register and set up your seller account, you will need to provide a credit card where we will charge you the fees and the bank account where we deposit the sales proceeds. And for some of the fees like referral as well as fulfillment fees, they are automatically deducted from the sales proceeds. And over here, I'd like to take the opportunity to also say that for those of you who don't have credit cards, do not worry. As long as you have a debit card that actually allows for international transactions to take place, you guys can use debit cards to actually register. And I would like to take this opportunity to also launch and share our launching of a 6 months discount on the professional selling plan, which used to be $39.99 USD, to the sellers in Philippines who actually register with Amazon Global Selling for the first time. So if you complete your registration as soon as you can, as this fee waiver is only made available for a limited amount of time. So essentially with this fee waiver, you will only be paying $1 for the first month and USD $0 for the next 5 months. Terms and conditions do apply. And this fee waiver will be active for all sellers who actually completed their registration from today all the way till April 3rd, 2024. And if you'd like to know more about this fee waiver announcement or any other information that you'd like to know more about regarding this fee waiver, you can actually scan this QR code and you'll be redirected to our Seller Central page where there will be more FAQs about fee waiver. Next, know-how 3, we need to know what to sell. Well, we offer the ability for sellers to actually list a variety of categories to sell on Amazon. Not all the categories are actually open to all sellers. Some will require a professional seller account, and some will require additional approval to actually sell. And it's important for us to understand these policies and what the restricted product categories are, as Amazon will actually require you to actually submit documentations as well as approvals before you can start selling. And you can find more information on our website or on your selling account when you actually registered with us. All of us here are actually at different phases of our selling journey. Some of you are here to actually listen into like how to sell. Some of you may have products, some of us do not. And hence the actions taken at different stage will be very different, but the tools used can actually be the same. So I would like to take this opportunity to actually introduce the Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer tool. It's an internal tool and is completely free for all sellers under the professional selling plan. And some external tools that you can use are Helium 10 or Jungle Scout. However, they both come at a fee. And for sellers that actually have a product in mind or have a product, these tools can actually help you with your competitive research. So you know what competitive research actually entails. It actually entails like finding out what keywords surrounding your product, how many products are actually competing for these keywords, and how many reviews do these products actually have, and what is the type of sales volume actually these products are actually getting. All these key insights actually help you better understand how to price your product, what kind of keywords to use, and how much stock you should inbound. And for sellers who are actually still in search of a product to sell, fret not, you can actually use these tools to actually discover unmet and underserved demand. And what do I mean by unmet and underserved demand? So unmet and underserved demand simply means things that are not available in the store right now, and to actually find these niche opportunities to come in to actually provide customers with these products that are actually needed. And to actually find out what customers are actually searching for. What are the needs that are actually present but are unmet, or gaps that have yet to be filled at the current moment. And these are some guiding questions that can help you maneuver these tools and also to help you with product research. And it's very important for you to actually choose the right product to sell on Amazon. One of the most common questions that account managers get is that, what should I sell that will do well? Frankly speaking, We do see opportunities across various categories, but many of them are also dependent on how much you're willing to invest and how you strategize your business as a whole. Hence, for sellers that do not have a product, you will need to invest time into researching and to also find your niche. So the Product Opportunity Explorer tool, like what I've shared, actually allows sellers to explore customer demand and competitive gaps for new product ideas. You may actually use the Product Opportunity Explorer tool to actually understand Amazon customer search and purchasing behavior to actually evaluate if there is an unmet customer demand for new products. If you may find a number of searches on a particular product niche, keywords that actually customers use, and also top negative as well as positive review keywords on current products. You may also explore up-to-date and accurate data on customer needs and current selection on Amazon. Typically, when people shop online, they actually search keywords on the products that they wish to purchase. And this is one of the best ways to actually understand real-time customer demand and behavior. And Amazon actually collates and actually combines these data and these search terms to actually group them together along with top click products and segment them into what we call product niches. And by identifying these search terms, it allows sellers like yourself to understand what are the current popular product categories, and also allow you to launch new in-demand products. Although you can sell almost anything in Amazon stores, a good place to start from for an aspiring e-commerce store owner is with products that are actually easy to package and ship, have branding potential, and are actually affordable for customers and have a long shelf life. You can actually scan this QR code to get more tips on choosing the right products. It is a link that is very useful and gives you a lot of insight as to what kind of products to sell, and what, give you some idea on what will actually do well on Amazon. And over here, I'd like you to meet Cyril, actually a 7-figure Amazon seller and a seller ambassador. Cyril actually started off as a seller on Amazon, passionate about golf at that point in time. So he was very keen to sell something that was related to his hobby of golf. He later learned that it was also important to actually carry out proper research based on the keyword research, as well as revenue calculations and analyzing reviews to actually ensure that the product actually sells well online. And taking his experience with the golf club brush, for example, Cyril actually realized in hindsight that there were more than 400 similar listings for golf club brushes back in 2018. And all the listings actually look similar, with only a slight differentiation in branding. And from there, Cyril actually learned that it was very important to choose a product category that had unique differentiation to his product so that it stands out among the sea of competitors. Hence, it is very important to actually identify and know what to sell through product research. Other than those tools that I've mentioned, you may also discover more tips on our What to Sell page. You can scan the QR code on the screen to access it, or you can just access it simply by typing in amzn.to/ph what to sell. So this page actually gives you a lot of tips. It gives you access to our category guides, product research tools, bestseller lists, and some more helpful resources. Another know-how that I'd like to cover in today's webinar is Fulfillment by Amazon. So let me share what Fulfillment by Amazon is. There are two main ways of how you can fulfill your orders to customers. One is fulfillment by merchant. In other words, you're actually fulfilling the orders by yourself. So you pick, pack, and ship the orders yourself. And as you can see from the table, if you decide to actually fulfill the order by yourself, you have to prepare each order, answer customers' questions in their own local language within 24 hours, and also provide customers with a return address information in the US. And option 2 is Fulfillment by Amazon, which I'll address in greater detail. So for FBA, otherwise known as Fulfillment by Amazon, Amazon actually processes the order for you, packs it for you, and deliver it to your customer. So Amazon will actually help to answer all the customer queries on your behalf in their own local language. And lastly, Amazon will also manage the return process for you. As you can see, by using FBA, you can actually scale up your business very quickly. By running a business, it is already hard enough. So do let Amazon do the heavy lifting for you, all the manual, time-consuming work. So you can scan this QR code to learn more about FBA. This QR code will bring you to our FBA guide, which actually gives you an in-depth explanation on what is there to know about FBA. And over here, I would like to share a story about Steve, a founder of a fashion brand, Petite Simone, which launched in 2021. And this Singapore brand actually continues to see 80 to 90% growth in monthly sales, and it hit six-figure sales in less than a year. And with his experience selling on Amazon, he cannot emphasize enough about the importance of FBA. There are many aspects to a business, and logistics is one area that is extremely crucial to the business, yet it is the most time-consuming. So as I mentioned previously, as part of FBA, Amazon actually helps you to manage all the customer inquiries, returns, as well as refunds, so that you can actually focus on growing your business. Hence, with FBA, it actually saves you a lot of time and allows you to actually better focus your time on the more important business decisions that you need to make. And last but not least, I would like to share how others do it. Sellers like yourself also started off small, but actually grew and enjoyed success on Amazon. So is the US too crowded for new sellers? There are some frequently asked questions like these. And the answer is actually no. Emerging brands continues to actually see success on Amazon.com. Taking Petite Simone previously as an example, and another example would be Abound Lifestyle, another Singapore homegrown decor brand that actually hit 7-digit sales in their first year. And these are just two amongst many successful seller stories. And bringing it closer to home, our seller ambassador, Joseph, who's actually a Filipino seller, he actually enjoyed success on Amazon. So Joseph is the founder of Argon 40 and emphasized that as an emerging brand and startup, Amazon actually played a big role in enabling them to be on the same stage as other established brands. So it is completely possible for small brands and sellers like yourself to also achieve success on Amazon. Another small independent brand that became the #1 lip scrub on Amazon.com is Handmade Heroes. So actually, Lindsay launched on Amazon.com in 2015, and in 2016, their halal vegan lip scrub actually already rose to the top 10 lip scrubs on Amazon.com. And Lindsay, the founder, actually attributes this to the fact that Amazon Global Selling actually levels the playing field for relatively unknown independent brands like hers with good value propositions to actually succeed on Amazon. And what are some things that Amazon sellers actually enjoy being a seller on Amazon, right? From being a digital nomad, working across the globe, to having more time with your family and ultimately being your own boss. These are just some of the many great things that comes with being an e-commerce business owner can enjoy. And I'd like to share now about some new seller incentives. So what's in it for new sellers like yourself? Only made available to sellers on this brand registry to actually help you ease cost and risk of selling on Amazon, or risk on starting with Amazon.com. We actually introduced the new seller incentive program, and it actually consists of 3 promotions. The first element in this program, Grow Your Brand. New sellers that are identified as brand owners with the Amazon brand registry within the first 6 months can actually enjoy benefits of 5% bonus of up to $1 million eligible sales. So that's up to about 50K in bonus. And second, you'll also be granted credits in using Amazon Global Logistics. And also you will be auto-enrolled in FBA New Selection Program, which allows you to get free storage, liquidations, return processing for eligible new to FBA products. And lastly, you can actually reach more customers with USD 50 credits for sponsored CPC ads. And also, you will also get $50 in credit when you adopt coupons. And last but not least, I also like to take this opportunity to share about with everyone that Amazon actually has a lot of free webinars conducted, specifically covering different topics, ranging from FBA to brand registry or listings, and they are all conducted for free. So if you simply scan this QR code on the screen, you can actually be redirected to our PH microsite. This site, you can just easily explore and scroll, and you can actually see our upcoming events. So under our upcoming events, we actually have a lot of webinars that are in store for you. They're actually, and we have actually invited speakers conducting each of the sessions are actually subject matter experts at each topic. So if you have any questions in relations to that particular topic, so you be sure to actually ask the speaker themselves, because you're hearing from the Amazon expert themselves, and it is completely free, so you don't have to pay for these webinars. And with that, I've come to the end of my sharing. I hope my sharing gave you a good glimpse into what it actually means to sell on Amazon. And I hope that you will go global with Amazon as well. I know that I've shared many links during the course of this sharing. So if you didn't catch any, fret not, because our resources are always available on our site as well as on our Sell.Dot page. So if you scan this QR code on the screen, actually a lot of the resources are actually housed in this website, and you can actually explore more. And if you want more access to our resources, please join our Facebook group. We will always be having tips and advice over there as well. You can access them and actually read up a bit more about selling on Amazon. And with that, I would like to pass the time to Jaime, who's going to share more about shipping basics. Jaime, please.
Everybody, so let me just set up the PowerPoint on the screen. Can everybody see my screen? Or is it seen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, so welcome. So I'll be discussing the shipping basics, and of course, this covers how you can send your items to Amazon. So when you think about sending or shipping, we basically have two ways. First way that we have is an air courier service, and the second way of sending is through forwarding. So when we think about how to delineate if a shipment will go through an air courier or if it will go through forwarding, we look at two factors: volume and value. So air courier, we need that to be both low volume and low value. And for forwarding, it could be one or the other. So it could be high volume but low value, and also it could be high value but low volume. So the main difference is that because air courier, these items can be passed off or declared as samples or as personal shipments. So if you are sending maybe 5 bags of chips, and the chips are around 200 pesos each, and you're sending that to the US, of course, that could be tagged as low volume and low value because it is a personal shipment. But if I am sending maybe 1,000 pieces, and even if they are quite cheap, these because of the quantity, customs will look at it and see it as being a commercial shipment. So that's why it would be considered as forwarding or a formal entry. Or if I am sending because of the value, if I'm sending maybe like a Rolex watch, those kinds of things, those are probably being sold, and these are commercial shipments, especially if it's just one item. So for the United States, we have to remember that when you are sending there, you want to avoid sending items over $800 because these are going to be considered as taxable. So there's a higher chance of them being taxed. For those who have For those who are attending the seminar and who have tried, purchasing something from abroad, um, and let's say importing it here to the Philippines. For the Philippines, if it exceeds 10,000 pesos, that's when it's taxed. So it varies per country. For the US, it's $800. So these are just things that you want to remember and sort of want to avoid when you're sending items abroad, so that we can really delineate what kind of shipment it will be considered as. So in terms of ship it, we have our air courier service, which is called Ship It Express. So for Ship It Express, as what I mentioned earlier, items are declared as personal or as a sample shipment. So what we ensure is that we check the item before it is sent out to the destination country, whether it be the United States, whether it be Europe, whether it be somewhere in Asia. We want to make sure that these items are allowed before sending out and before the items are out of your hands. So of course, it's to protect you guys from sending something, and to avoid any additional costs of picking up, of having the items returned back to you. And of course, whenever you send it to somebody abroad, duties and taxes are paid by the recipient or the consignee, because it's difficult for us to calculate the duties and taxes because these are computed by the customs of the destination country and not by the one sending it. So generally, when you send out items that, with food, cosmetics, cleaning items that would need to have an FDA, those items we need to have an FDA at least here in the Philippines, just to make sure that we don't send out any unregulated products. It's mostly for hygienic purposes to avoid any contamination when it gets to the destination country. At least these things are well checked here before it's sent out abroad. So when you think about how express shipments are priced, or how air courier shipments are priced, so this is not only applicable for us. This applies for other air couriers such as FedEx, DHL, UPS, or other resellers of their service. There's a term called chargeable weight. So this is when you compare volumetric versus actual weight, and the price is based on whichever is higher. So when you have a box always has its own specific volumetric weight, and you can get it by multiplying the length and width and height in centimeters. So if it's 25 by 25 by 25 centimeters, it's 25 times 25 times 25, and you divide it by 5,000. So you're going to get a respective weight for that box. So what happens now is that every box has its own minimal chargeable weight. If the weight does not exceed the weight of the corresponding weight of the box, if the actual weight, sorry, does not exceed the corresponding weight of the box, then you will be charged the weight of the box. If it exceeds the weight of the box, then you'll be charged based on the actual weight. So I'll give some examples to sort of make this a bit clearer or help you guys understand a bit more. So for this box with these specific dimensions, it comes out at around 4 kilograms in terms of its volumetric weight. Technically, it comes at around 3.7, 3.8. But when you ship abroad, or when you send items via air courier, it automatically goes up by a 0.5. So if it exceeds 3.5, it becomes 3.5001. It's going to be considered as 4 already. So if it's 3.6, it's already considered as 4. So for this box, it has a corresponding volumetric weight of 4 kilograms. And the contents, along with the box, has an actual weight of 20 kilograms. So for this example, you're going to be charged 20 kilograms. For the second example, since it's Christmas season right now, the best example I can use is a parol. So imagine you have a box of this size, and it has a corresponding volumetric weight of 20.5 kilograms. But the actual contents with the box only weigh 5 kilograms. What will happen now is you'll be charged 25 kilograms. That's what I mean, where when you have a box, it has a minimum chargeable weight already, which is the volume. So whether this actual weight goes to 6, whether it goes to 12, whether it goes to 15, you will still be charged 25 kilograms. But the moment that this actual weight becomes 25.2, then you'll be charged 25.5 kilograms. So that's the way that air courier services work. So when you see any ad or let's say a price list, all of those prices are based on the volumetric, are based on the chargeable rate. So the second way of sending is through through forwarding. So we have our own service called Ship It Forwarding. When you think about forwarding, there are different ways to send your items abroad. You can send it via air in bulk or via sea in bulk. You can send it in full containers via sea or less than container load. So it's when you say LCL or less than container load, you think of it as a carpool. So the way that if you have carpool to work or if you ride with somebody to work, this one it's in one container. Your items are all in one container with many different items, all going to the same destination. We also have services in case it's needed for stickering, repacking, making sure that your items have the proper label requirements and are compliant with the destination country. So one thing to take note when it comes to forwarding shipments is that these are automatically considered as commercial shipments. So when it's commercial, so this is in the context of sending to the United States, but it also applies for other countries. But you need an export license here in the Philippines. You need an import license in the United States or in the destination country. You also need to make sure that the items that you're bringing are registered in the United States, not just the Philippines, but also in the US. Because, of course, because it's commercial, it will be sold, it needs to meet the standards of the destination country. You'd also probably need other supporting documents depending on the type of item that you have. So let's say alcohol items or items with alcohol, could be cosmetic products, be cleaning items. They would need a material safety data sheet to make sure that these items are okay for transport and that they are not flammable. Just so that the carrier, whether it be the airline or the shipping line, knows that the item is safe for transport. So the easiest metaphor, the easiest example I can use for this is a passport and a visa. So when you travel to the United States, you need a passport to exit the Philippines, and you need a visa to enter the United States. So for commercial shipments, you need an export license to exit the Philippines, and you need an import license for it to be cleared and accepted in the United States. So when you send to Amazon, this is where a courier shipment and a forwarding shipment has a tendency to mix in terms of their requirements and in terms of their arrangements. So Amazon shipments, because these items are going to an Amazon warehouse, are considered as a commercial shipment. Obviously, because they're going to be sold, it's going to Amazon. It's not a personal item. It's a item that's for sale. So duties and taxes may be charged by the customs. If they see, okay, it's going to Amazon, it needs to be taxed. Food and drug and cosmetic items would need the FDA locally and in the US. Again, because this is considered as commercial entry or as a commercial shipment. So they will look for an FDA for that item. Other items such as, let's say, non-food, wooden products, we need further documentation to make sure that they are fumigated or, let's say, finished already. And the main thing that we have to take note is that an importer on record is needed because it's a commercial shipment. So if they charge the duties and taxes, they will charge it to the importer. So what happens now is Amazon, because they are not the owner of the goods, they are just a holding company, they are just a warehouse, for lack of better term, they cannot serve as the importer on record because they don't own the goods. So now customs will look for an importer on record, and if they don't find anybody or any importer on record, what happens now is that item may be held, and it'll be cost delay. So when you think about it, how can Ship It help you? So the first way that we can help you is with documentation, compliance, and assistance. So in terms of making sure that your items are okay in the United States, we can check, especially if it's food, if it's cleaning products, if it's electronics. We also have a broker who can look at all of the requirements for that, making sure that all of these items are okay in the US before you send it out into the US. If you would need help in getting let's say, providing a food facility registration number initially, we have our own, and that can be used. And we also have an importer on record. So we have our own import license in the US. So what happens now is that if customs decides to look for somebody and look for an importer on record, The importer record now will be One Export USA, which is just our holding office, our holding company. But at least now, in terms of documentation, you are protected. The items won't necessarily be held anymore, especially if they're going to be charged duties and taxes. And if it does get charged duties and taxes, we will just extend that charge to you. We also assist in bulk shipping. When you ship in bulk, here, let's say if you're not sending to the United States, most of the time your buyer will handle the import clearance, they will handle the importer on record services. But in this situation, um, again, Amazon cannot do that. So what happens now is that we now can send in bulk. So even if it's a full container, we have an export license here in the Philippines. We also have an import license in the US. We can do the end-to-end service from pickup, clearance here, the sea freight or the air freight, clearance in the United States, and then delivery to the Amazon warehouse. So when you think about items that are not allowed, generally these aren't allowed because they're either illegal or we just need special requirements. One thing to take note of, like let's say items with batteries, they just need special requirements, or let's say jewelry. What else? Designer bags, they would just need certificate of authenticities, similar to high-end watches. So that brings me to the end of my topic. I hope you guys learned a lot from this, and that's what I mentioned to a lot of our different audiences. I'll just move to the next slide. So this is where you can sort of contact us. But anyways, feel free to message us at shipit@oneexport.com. A consultation is always free. We'd be happy to help. And although we are a service provider, we'd like you guys to think of us as a service partner. We're not just here to give you a rate and then bring the item abroad. We also want to make sure that you feel safe before you commit to sending your items abroad or sending it out to the United States, and for you guys to understand the complete requirements and compliances of shipping out before anything happens. Okay. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you so much, Jaime. Thank you. And I'll just like to hand the time over to Josephine from Accolade IP, who's going to share more about navigating US trademark registration. Josephine, please.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Attorney Josephine Go. I am the PH Managing Partner and US Trademark Head of Accolade IP. For today's discussion, I will be leading on the topic Navigating US Trademark Registration, a strategic overview for Amazon sellers. So Accolade IP stands as a dedicated intellectual property service provider extending exclusive discounted rates tailored specifically for Amazon sellers. Accolade IP is part of Amazon's service provider network, and at Accolade IP, we help you navigate the complexities of filing a trademark application in the US. You may register your trademark in the US for as low as $625 US. This is a special rate for Amazon sellers. This is already inclusive of all official fees and professional fees from filing an application to the issuance of the certificate of registration, except for the 12% VAT, bank charges, and potential fees for filing a response to an office action, if any. So as you can see on our website, the cost for filing a trademark application in the US is 45,500 pesos. But for Amazon sellers, it's only $625 US, which is approximately equivalent to 34,800 pesos as of the current date. So who among you is interested in registering your brand on Amazon.com? It is crucial to have your brand registered with the USPTO. However, if you haven't completed the registration process yet, having a pending application in the USPTO will also suffice for Amazon's brand registry. So here we present a selection of our clients' trademarks that have been successfully registered within the Amazon brand registry. It is important to note that while several of these marks have completed the registration process, others are presently pending approval in the USPTO and have yet to be fully registered. So by way of reiteration, your mark doesn't need to be instantly approved in the USPTO. A mere pending application will be sufficient for you to be eligible in the Amazon brand registry. So here are several advantages of USPTO trademark registration for Amazon brand registry. Number one is enhanced brand protection. A registered trademark affords stronger legal protection against unauthorized users of your brand name and logo. Number two is powerful search and report tools. With Amazon brand registry, you gain access to the Amazon's advanced search and reporting tools, making it easier to find potentially infringing listings and report them to Amazon for removal. And number three is customer trust. A registered trademark adds legitimacy and trust to your brand, which is important for customer buying decisions. So here are requirements for filing a trademark application in the US with Accolade. To initiate a comprehensive preliminary search and ensure accurate assessment for your trademark application in the United States, we kindly request the following documentation from you. Number one is a copy of your logo in digital format. So this is essential for us to conduct due diligence. Number two is an electronic copy of your certificate, or if you have a pending application in your country of origin, if applicable. So this is essential for us to determine the application basis that we will utilize for your US trademark application. And lastly, your website, social media sites, and marketing materials. So this will be necessary for us to create your specifications for your US trademark application. Please be aware that we will perform thorough due diligence using the provided requirements. In addition to manual searches, we employ cutting-edge AI-powered software that aids us in assessing the registrability of your mark. For providing you a comprehensive search report, please give us at least 1 to 3 business days. Following our comprehensive due diligence, we will proceed to determine the most suitable application basis to utilize for your trademark registration. So in the US, there are 4 bases in filing a trademark application in the USPTO. So number one is Section 1A, or actual use. This signifies that you are actually using the mark within the US commerce. Number two is Section 1B, or intent to use. This signifies that you have the intention to use your mark in the future. And number three is Section 44D, or foreign application. This signifies that you have a pending application in your country of origin. And lastly is Section 44E, or foreign registration. This signifies that you have a registered trademark in your country of origin. So let's begin with Section 1A, or actual use. For Section 1A, proof of use within US commerce is essential. So in practice, a mere picture of your product bearing the logo will be sufficient for Section 1 purposes. However, in some instances, especially if your specimen appears to be mock-up or dubious, there are times that the examiner will ask for further documentation, such as proof of sales in the US, like sales of invoices, while redacting personal and sensitive information. In the application form, it is necessary to specify both the first date of use in the United States and any other location. Next is Section 1B, or intent to use. Among the 4 bases, Section 1B has the lengthiest process due to the inclusion of a notice of allowance stage, a step that does not exist in the other bases. For Section 1B, it incurs an additional official fee, and there is an additional fee of $320 US, as you are required to submit specimens during the notice of allowance stage. If your mark seems to be merely descriptive, pursuing registration on the supplemental registry is discouraged. especially since it is also not permissible for Amazon brand registry. Additionally, please be aware that Section 1B is not a viable option for supplemental registration. Next is Section 44D, foreign application. If you have submitted an application for the identical trademark and for the same goods and or services within your country of origin, you have the option to select Section 44D as your filing basis. A grace period of 6 months is provided. However, beyond the 6-month grace period, utilizing Section 44D as a filing basis is no longer a viable option. So for instance, if you have a pending application in the IFO field, let's say you filed your application last December 2022, and you want to initiate a trademark application in the US, filing an application under Section 44D will no longer be feasible as the 6-month grace period has already lapsed. Please be aware that the trademark application from your country of origin should closely match your application in the US. So meaning if you have a pending application in the IFO field, all details must be exactly the same with that of your US application. Next is Section 44E or foreign registration. Should you possess a certificate of registration for your mark in your country of origin, it is also admissible as a foundation for submitting a US application under Section 44E. Similar to Section 44D, your certificate must be highly identical with your US application to meet the criteria for acceptance. Under this basis, as well as in the context of Class 44D, specimens are not required at the filing stage and will only be necessitated during the maintenance period. So among the 4 bases, I actually always recommend our clients to pursue an application under Section 44E if they have a registration in the IFO field, because you don't need to submit specimens during the file application stage. Hence, the process here is smoother and faster as compared to the other bases. Next is determine whether your mark should be filed under TIS Plus or TIS Standard. So if the goods or services descriptions of your trademark application are found in the ID manual of the USPTO, then we will utilize your application under TIS Plus. However, if some of the items are not found in the ID manual, then we need to utilize your application under TIS Standard, and there's an additional cost of $102 US. Next is determine whether your mark should be filed as a standard character or stylized. So as you can see here, the ABC mark, it is rendered as a stylized mark. If the mark appears to be straightforward without any embellishments, then it is considered as a standard character mark. Between these two options, I always recommend our clients to pursue an application using a standard character mark so that they can utilize any stylizations in the future. However, if their mark appears to be merely descriptive, then I will suggest for them to file an application using stylized character mark, but they need to add another figurative element or distinctive device for it to be accepted in the USPTO. So do you have any inquiries? Please feel free to scan the QR code and kindly complete the form linked in the QR for any inquiries you might have. You may also visit us in our office. So our office is located in the CIP building. It is just near the IFO field and the Venice Grand Canal Mall. Once we have settled these particulars, Accolade will assume the responsibility for submitting your US trademark application and will diligently track any notifications or updates from the USPTO pertaining to your mark. Following the submission of your application, you can visit www.emzn.2/ph-accolade-it, wherein you'll become eligible for a free account management support offered by the Amazon team. Feel free to provide your details to express your interest in the Amazon Global Selling Program. Subsequently, Amazon's account managers will be in touch to initiate a business review. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Josephine. And Thank you so much for sharing to our speakers. It has been a great day, and I hope that all the information that are shared to you are insightful and helpful to you in your journey of your selling with Amazon. And do keep in mind that we have a lot of other webinars that covers different topics, as well as different, ranging from like FBA to branding. So do keep a lookout for them, and we will be constantly updating our Facebook as well. Be part of the Facebook group, and connect with the other sellers as well as other existing sellers as well. All right, with that, I'd like to give a big thank you to both of our speakers today, Jaime as well as Josephine. It's been a great evening with all of you, and I hope to see you again. Thank you. Bye-bye.